Do you want a carrot? Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 12, Episode 2, Stooping to a Lower Level. Let's get started. Okay, this episode opens with Tinsley and Sonja, and they are going to a rooftop bar to have a drink or to have lunch or something, and they're meeting Lia. But before Lia gets there, Tinsley would like to get something off her chest. She wants Sonja to explain to her why she's been jumping on this Dorinda bandwagon of, we don't even know Tinsley. Tinsley said, you and I are friends. We've been friends for a long time. You know me. And she's like, well, I know you, but Dorinda doesn't. Tinsley said, she's calling me a liar. And Sonja said, well, what did she say you lied about? And she said, this whole thing with Scott. Like somehow I have an arrangement with him where he buys me things and, okay. While this is happening, the server has come to the table and she put down menus. Now she's standing between them. Sweet girl, read the room. To be fair, I've never worked in a restaurant, but I can tell you this. If two people are in the middle of a heated discussion, I'm gonna come back later. I'm not going to stand there until they acknowledge me so that I can take their drink order. Okay, now Lia gets there. And she's chiming in defense of Tinsley. She said, you've always been forthright and honest with me. I don't know what she's talking about. And then in Lia's confessional, she said, maybe Tinsley confides in me because I don't call her a hooker. If I were her, I wouldn't tell Dorinda what I had for lunch. All right, I am shocked by this next part. Apparently, Lia has some tattoos. Sonja saw a little one on her arm. I don't know what it says. But she said, you have tattoos? And Lia goes, yeah, I've got a bunch of tattoos. I'm getting a big one removed from my back. And she said, you have a big one on your back? And she goes, yeah, I have a tramp stamp. And she said, what does it say? Lia said, it says my name. And then we see it. And oh my God, you guys, it's so ugly. Or maybe it's just me. I'm really into hand lettering. This is just something dorky about me, but I'm learning how to do it more, and I don't know, I just love it. So one thing that feels like assaulting to my eyes is when somebody spells something out in all capital letters when each letter has like a lot of flourishes. I do not like that. And this it looks messy. It's hard to read. It looks a little bit like gang graffiti in a way. Anyway, in my opinion, I'm happy she's getting rid of it because it's ugly. However, the thing that is most surprising about this whole scene is Sonja's provincial attitude toward tattoos. I mean, I'm shocked that she finds it shocking. But the best part of this is that in Sonja's confessional, she said, Lia has a beautiful body. And I think that says something negative about her that she would get tattoos. Because it's very self-defecating. Oh no, that's when you shit on yourself. She's trying to think of self-deprecating, but she winds up settling with self-defaming. But honestly, really? You think having a tattoo is like some sort of a symbol of like lack of self-worth? That's so weird to me. I don't know. Let's do a poll question. What do you guys think? Do you think people with tattoos have low self-esteem? That's going to be the question. I'm curious. Maybe Sonja's right. Maybe a lot of people do think that. I mean, I personally don't. Personally, I like tattoos. I don't have any, but that's more indecision on my part. I think it's an expression of art. Then we find out that Tinsley has one tattoo, RLM, and that's Topper's initials. But Sonja, it is a deal breaker for her. If a guy has a tattoo, she's not going near him. It's just an interesting revelation about Sonja. I mean, her standards don't seem particularly high in most other areas of her life. I think it's funny that the hill she's going to die on is the tattoo. Anyway, We get a little throwaway scene with Dorinda packing for the Hamptons. Ramona has invited everyone to stay at her place in the Hamptons for a week. For a week? I think she said that. So now this next scene is in the Hamptons. Luann is already there because Luann also has a house in Sag Harbor. They are meeting at a restaurant. Luann is there first and she orders a Diet Coke. And then we see Ramona strutting down the street, and I just expect to hear the music from Saturday Night Fever in the background. She walks in and you hear a man's voice say, "Would you like to have a glass of Pinot Grigio with me?" Okay, she's barely gotten in the door and Ramona is giving this guy her number. So while she's flirting, Luann can see her that she walked in, and Luann's like, oh my God. So she finally comes over and Luann said, "So you gave him your number? Is he handsome?" Ramona, "I don't know. I mean, he's attractive. He's age appropriate. He's a nice dresser, and he's got good manners." Luann goes, "Oh, you figured all that out in 2 seconds?" "Yeah, I did." She probably did, because by now I imagine she's extremely efficient with her flirting. Oh, okay, now we're going to have a little foreshadowing, because Ramona is starting to tell Luann that she's got a perfect room for her in her house. It's a very nice room. You'll have your own entrance. It's very private. It's nice and quiet. You have your very own bathroom. Luann, "Well, I don't need to be favored." Oh, since when? I was so waiting for Bravo to give us the flashback to, "I'm stuck in this room and I just got married." Like, okay, you're not here with your husband. Because she was married, she thought she deserved a better room. I mean, it's just funny. Ramona is really selling this room that's quiet and away from everybody, and you can sneak a guy in there. Nobody would ever know. So this way, if Tinsley and Sonja are up till 2 in the morning and playing music, you won't have to hear it. On the one hand, I get it, because Luann is sober-ish. But at this point in time, she is sober, and maybe it would be good for her to have a little bit of distance from all the partying, or a place that she can get away if she wants to bow out early or something. But on the other hand, it definitely feels a little bit like you're going to be kind of out of the loop, of the party. In her confessional, Ramona said, "I wanted to make sure I gave her a nice room. I did not want to repeat the whole thing that happened with the fish room." Then we get the montage of Luann being stuck in the fish room in the Berkshires. Luann is asking who else is invited to this, and she mentions everyone, and Luann said, "Is Tinsley's friend invited?" And Ramona's like, "Yeah, Lia or Leia? Yeah, she's invited." Luann said, "Oh, good, I like her." And she asked her, "What do you like about her?" And she said, "Well, within a few minutes of meeting her, she told me that she also was arrested." And Ramona's like, "What was she arrested for? Did she tell you?" Luann said, "Assaulting a police officer." So they talked about how that was a real bonding moment for Luann. "Oh, it just broke down all the barriers for you then, didn't it?" In Ramona's confessional, she goes, "Let's face it. How many people got arrested? Of course they bonded over their arrest." Okay, there's a throwaway scene with Tinsley and Strawberry and Shortcake. She's hand feeding them. In her voiceover, she's telling us that she has to learn how to speak Chinese for them because that's all they know. And I was thinking, oh, come on. Like, they don't speak any language. It's usually just kind of sounds. Like, I would think they would quickly adapt to commands in English. But you guys, she had like Google Translate on or whatever on her. She had something on her phone. She must have typed in "good girl," and this voice came on and in Mandarin said "good girl," and both of the dogs turned and looked. Oh my God, it was so cute. And then this was sort of funny. I know it was more like editing, but Tinsley is now trying to repeat the phrase. And the captioning shows that she said "good milk" instead of "good girl." And the camera shows both the dogs going. Oh, that was so cute when that translator said "good girl" and they both came over. Oh my God. I loved it. Okay, so now Sonja and Dorinda are heading to the Hamptons together. As I said before, Luann is still there, but she's leaving her home in Sag Harbor to go to Ramona's house, which is in Southampton. And oh my gosh, Ramona's getting everything ready for the ladies to arrive. And she's talking to Coco, her dog. Coco is so cute. You guys, Coco is 17 years old. She is still hanging in there. She's a little deaf, but she looks pretty good. Oh, I hope Olive lives to be 17. Oh my God, poor Coco. As I said, Coco's a little hard of hearing. So Ramona's talking to Coco and she goes, "Oh, Coco, would you like a little carrot? Coco? Coco! Coco!" Well, that high pitch makes Coco finally turn and she goes, "Do you want a carrot?" Now we see Tinsley and Lia, and they are in a car together heading up to the Hamptons. Guys, Lia's hat. Yeah, not doing it for me. Lia has a bucket hat that appears to be made out of sheer fabric. To me, there's something unsettling about seeing your mashed down hair under a hat because the hat is transparent. I don't love it. And also, personally, I don't love a bucket hat. I grew up with Gilligan's Island. That's all I can think of. So, I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Lia's hat. In the other car with Sonja and Dorinda, Sonja said, "Oh, I had fun meeting, Tinsley's friend." And Dorinda said, "Yeah, I should get to know her better." In her confessional, Dorinda said, "I really should give Lia a chance because I shouldn't be practicing guilt by association." So Dorinda is going to give Lia a chance. Oh my God, with the tattoos. All you women do things I would never ever do, okay? Your morals seem to be kind of all over the place in general, yet you are all coming down on that tattoo thing like it's the worst thing ever. Ladies, I hate to break the news to you, but people with tattoos are not beneath you. This is just crazy. Not only does Sonja, well, maybe it's Sonja mostly, because she's telling everybody about Lia's tattoos. In the car, she tells Dorinda. Over the phone, she tells Ramona. Ramona, oh, I don't like tattoos. And then they both agree if their daughters ever got tattoos. I don't know. I guess that would be the end of the world. I just can't get over that this is where they're drawing the line. Okay, well, Sonja and Dorinda arrive first, and Dorinda has brought a frosé machine as a hostess gift. In Ramona's confessional, she goes, "Dorinda always has fun gifts. Last year, she brought me these mermaid outfits, and this year she brought me a frosé, which is for rosé. Frozen rosé. For rosé. It's the two words together. It's a frozen rosé. So you take rosé and you freeze it, so it's frozen rosé. Frosé. Love it." Okay, they go outside. That's where Ramona wants everybody to be, out in the yard. And Sonja said that her chiropractor told her only drink clear alcohol, that wine is poison. And then she asks Dorinda to bring her a rosé. So now Luann has arrived, and Tinsley and Lia now just got there. Oh, two quick things. One, I forgot to say that Tinsley lost her voice. So for the whole rest of the episode, she's going to be talking like this. Yeah. And the other thing is, now seeing Lia's hat from the back, and you can see the tag and everything, I hate it even more. And there's just there's a weird little black tab across the top of it. I don't know, guys. I can't do it. All right, well, it's time for room assignments. This will be good. Ramona has put Lia... Well, okay, this is interesting. She says, "So you're in the Jill room. It's a twin bed. Sorry." Couple of things. One, excuse me, why is that called a Jill room? unless it's for Jill Zarin. But the other thing is that I do think it's interesting that we are seeing more twin beds now than ever. Even on like the other shows, like New Jersey, everyone was always like, put in a twin bed when they went on vacation. I don't seem to remember that in past seasons. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just noticing it now, and you know how whenever you notice something, now you see it everywhere? Maybe that's what's happening to me. I don't know. But it's a beautiful room, even though it's a Jill room. Okay, but this is what we've all been waiting for. She is showing Luann to her room. They start by going down a flight of stairs. Luann, is this the basement? This is our lower level. Okay, so we're calling it the lower level. And you guys, it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't want to be down there because I'm not sure if there's much light, but there's a lovely like family room area with couch and a big screen TV. And then they round the corner and Ramona's like, and this is another room? Yeah, okay, but it doesn't look like there's anything in that room. So maybe she could do yoga in there because I don't see a stick of furniture. And by this time, the girl who, I don't need special treatment, isn't so happy. She says to Ramona, what happened to, you're gonna be so happy and I'll have the nicest room. Oh my God. Of course there's a part of me that thinks that that's exactly the kind of thing Ramona would say to somebody else, so she kind of deserves it coming back at her, but holy crap, how were you raised? You are a guest in someone's home, and you are given a huge room that has its own living room, bathroom, whatever. Yes, it's in the basement, but it's not like it's cement floors and dripping pipes. So rude. But no, she's like, so what happened to that? Ramona goes, I said you'd have privacy. In her confessional, Luann's like, I'm always last on the totem pole when it comes to picking rooms. The lack of Ramona's consideration is just mind-blowing. No, your behavior is what's mind-blowing. Oh, you guys, Tinsley's voice. Tinsley without a voice. She can't even go eek when she sees a spider. She comes in Leah's room and she goes, I just saw a spider in the bathroom and I want to kill it real quickly. Well, Luann comes up to the kitchen to ask Ramona, how can I adjust the thermostat? It's too cold downstairs. And Ramona goes, it's too cold? You can't. What do you mean I can't? You just can't do it. It's 70 degrees. That's too cold. There's a blanket. Well, I don't like to sleep with the air conditioning. So Ramona's like, okay, I'll figure it out. Luann heads back down to the dungeon. Tinsley comes into the kitchen and Ramona said, I'm putting the wine here in the fridge, in the door of the fridge, so we have easy access. And she said, Lia doesn't drink, does she? I don't know what Tinsley said because it's hard to hear her. She's not drinking right now. She squeaked out something and Ramona goes, oh yeah, that's right. That's how she and Luann bonded because they were both in prison. In prison. I mean, she corrected herself, but I like the idea that they were both in prison. Oh my God, you guys, this next scene is a total throwaway scene, but I loved it because it is Luann down in the basement, double fisting remote controls, trying to get the TV to work. There was just something so familiar about that because that is me in every new hotel room I've ever been in, trying to figure out how the damn TV works. Now we see Dorinda in her room and she is on the phone with her contractor. I was mistaken. There was not a fire at Bluestone Manor in the Berkshires. It was a flood. So she is in the process of redoing the whole place and has been dealing with a whole lot of stuff. Contractors, insurance companies, filling out forms, trying to get people on the phone. I can only imagine what a mess it is to deal with everything, and expense. Dorinda goes downstairs and she's outside in the backyard on the patio with Sonja, and she breaks down. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. She said, I'm not a whinger usually. She's overwhelmed by everything that's happening and that she has to do it by herself. The most interesting part of this is that she said, I'm not being nice to anybody. And Sonja picked up on that. And I thought, okay, she's being vulnerable. This actually might lead to an apology to Tinsley later. But in her confessional, she said that she feels like she felt when Richard died. It's like everything feels so big. So Sonja is trying to comfort her, and she said, I get it. You don't have Richard anymore to help make you feel carefree. But that doesn't make John any less of a man. I promise you, especially from the way Dorinda speaks of Richard, John is less of a man than Richard. But you don't need to hear that from me, because Dorinda is about to tell you. Yeah. That's not the same, John. John's never been married. John's never been a parent. John's never grown up, really. I mean, he runs a business, but it's different to run a home and children and a family. It's not that John doesn't want to help. He wants to help. He's just never had any responsibilities. She's making it sound like how when your 2-year-old wants to help you make the bed, and you're like, oh, okay. Like you want to let them feel the responsibility and you appreciate the offer, but you're just going to have to remake the bed when they leave. That's how she makes John sound. So in Sonja's confessional, and side note, I'm not loving this confessional look for Sonja. I don't love the hair for some reason, that like swept across side bang, and the exploding dress. She is a beautiful woman and she has looked so much better. But anyway, what she says is for Dorinda to say that she's been mean to people, that's huge, because she can rip you a new asshole. And she's actually admitting that right now. Luann comes out now. She's like, hey, what's going on? You having a cry? And Dorinda goes, see, I'm nerved up right now. Sonja said, she's overwhelmed. Luann goes, obviously, but why? If you don't know why she's overwhelmed, why did you say obviously? Anyway, Tinsley now comes to join the girls. As she's explaining everything that's going on, with the flood at the Berkshires and her new apartment and everything, Sonja, I think because Tinsley is there, Sonja said, yeah, she says she's not being the nicest person right now because of everything that's going on. I know for a fact Sonja wanted Tinsley to hear that. And it's the perfect opportunity for Dorinda to say, yeah, I did say that. And Tinsley, I owe you an apology. But Dorinda had other plans. Her plans were to actually kind of deny that she said that. Not outright deny, but what she said was, no, what it is that I'm just tired all the time. Okay. So it's not that being overwhelmed has caused you to be mean to other people. It's just made you tired all the time. She doesn't want Tinsley to know that she said that. Meanwhile, inside the house, Lia has brought a hostess gift for Ramona, and it's a Joe Malone candle, and Ramona is thanking her profusely. I love Joe Malone, how did you know? And I love candles! Anyway, Ramona brings up Lia's hat. So tell me about your hat. Is that a fashion statement? And Lia said, oh, I was waiting for somebody to bring up my hat. No, I saw it online and I thought it was really cute. I wanted it. I love bucket hats. Ramona graciously said, well, I don't know if it's something I could pull off, but Lia said, it's something my daughter would make fun of, actually. I knew I liked Kiki. So Lia said, yeah, and I know you were in the fashion industry. And Ramona said, yeah, I was a buyer for Macy's. Side note, who wasn't a buyer for Macy's? Didn't Teresa Giudice claim to be a buyer for Macy's? I mean, it sounds familiar to me. Anyway, she said, and then I opened up my own business when I was 30. She says that she was on her own since she was 16. And Lia said, yeah, my parents basically threw me out at 17. Not that I didn't deserve it, but they were just like, bye, you need to figure your shit out. Ramona goes, were you doing drugs or alcohol? And Lia said, yeah, all that. Ramona, and you were doing that because... Lia said, I was very rebellious and I was so angry. We moved from New York to Connecticut. I was depressed about it. She was 13, which is, tough age no matter what. Lia ends up saying that she thinks that all the adversity kind of gave her sort of a strength and perseverance that she needed to open her own company. Ramona liked that, and they're getting along famously. Okay, so now all the ladies are outside. Ramona tells them that 7 o'clock is their dinner reservation, so if they want to go take naps or do whatever now, they should do that. Sonja now is going after Lia's hat, and this discussion is kind of everywhere. It kind of turns into Ramona talking about her tattoos. Well, I don't talk to people with tattoos. In Lia's confessional, she's like, oh my God, it's not like I have a penis tattooed on my forehead or a gun tattoo on my neck. I've got pretty little tattoos. Like, I've got a little Chanel tattoo right here. Ew. Sorry, I've been defending you this whole time, Lia. I don't love that you have a Chanel tattoo. I mean, have a tattoo of your own business. It's fine, I guess, but don't give Jennifer Aiden ideas. Anyway, Tinsley just is squeaking in the corner. Nobody can really hear her. Sonja said, hey, at least Ramona knows your name. That's one good thing. And Dorinda said, and if she ever forgets it, you can just turn around and bend over. Okay. Not the funniest joke in the world. Not original because Sonja basically made the joke earlier. Yet, for some strange reason, in Lia's confessional, that was very offensive to her. You just met me? That is so rude. I don't know, guys. I didn't think it was so rude. I thought it was a joke. I get that she didn't know that Dorinda knew about the tramp stamp, so maybe it caught her off guard. But that would mean you should probably be a little bit more angry with whoever told Dorinda. All I'm going to say about this next part is that everybody leaves to go off and rest or take a shower or whatever, except for Lia, Tinsley, and Ramona. And Ramona is pissed that nobody helps clean up, take their things. She doesn't have any maid service for the week that people are there, I guess. Why? I don't know, but she doesn't. And so she's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to clean all this up. So Lia and Tinsley starts gathering things up, bussing the table like it's her first week at Applebee's. She's dropping silverware, and Ramona's like, that's okay. You can pick it up later. New girl's got to pay her dues. All right, so they're getting ready to go out to dinner. There's a lot of little things. Lia's on the phone with her daughter. She's having trouble making friends at a new school. Dorinda is in her room. Sonja comes into Tinsley's room because Tinsley's helping her put her eyelashes on. And Tinsley said, why did you tell Dorinda about Lia's tattoos? And she said, oh, I just thought it would be funny, to tell her about it. It's fine. I'm just going to be there for Dorinda right now. And Tinsley's like, oh, why? And she said, because you've got Princess Lia. She doesn't have anybody right now. She's going through a lot. And she said she's been taking it out on other people. And Tinsley said, that's no excuse. So Lia now comes into the room and she closes the door and she's like, look, I'm not the problem. She's not the problem. There's only one person here who's causing problems. And Sonja said, she's going through a lot right now. Lia, so am I. I'm away from my kid. She had a bad day at school. Okay. You're not exactly going through things at the level that Dorinda is right now. Don't try to act like it's the same. No, it isn't right for Dorinda to take it out on other people, though. That part is true. So Sonja leaves and goes right to Dorinda, which it's funny because Tinsley just told Lia, be careful about telling Sonja so much stuff because she's going to go right and tell the others. And that is exactly what she did. Sonja says to Dorinda, I thought you were going to make amends with Lia. And she goes, what did I do? And she said, well, Lia said, Dorinda told me nobody in this group has tattoos. And I said, no, she didn't. She didn't say that. And Dorinda's like, I said none of us have tattoos because we don't. In Dorinda's confessional, she said that her mother told her when she was growing up that people with tattoos were going to kidnap her. Sonja's like, so you don't know if you've been angry with her? Because Dorinda stops her. I gotta tell you something right now. I don't know if I could pick this girl out of a lineup, which I'm sure she's been in, by the way. And second of all, I haven't heard her voice. So I could neither recognize her visually or the other way. What is happening to these women? What is this called? Oratorily. Okay, moving on. Dorinda confronts Lia. I heard you were talking about me and you said that I said we don't have tattoos. The fact of the matter is we don't. She doesn't have a tattoo, she doesn't have a tattoo, and I don't have a tattoo. Lia's like, okay, it was more about you could bend over and she'll know your name. Well, she used that joke too. Pointing to Sonja. This whole thing is a nightmare, but Dorinda is determined to not like Lia because Lia is Tinsley's friend, and Dorinda, she does not want to make amends with Tinsley. It doesn't matter what's going on in her life with the Berkshires, if she's overwhelmed, crying with friends. She doesn't want Tinsley to know that, and she does not want to be friends with Dorinda is making this clear right now. So much for that guilt by association, because she's hating on Lia now. Okay, so they finally make it to the restaurant and sit down, and I mean, there's a bunch of little things that happen. Like, one thing is that Sonja appears to be wearing a bathing suit top under her dress because her other bra wasn't fitting right or something. And Lia ordered a drink for her and Luann because they're both not drinking alcohol right now. But then when the drinks come, Luann, I would like to give a toast. And she is mostly just staring at Dorinda, which I guess in a way makes sense because she is trying to make amends with Dorinda. But it's a rather lengthy toast. It is very Luann-centric. But of course, it goes a little something like this.
It was like a volcano erupted. There were ashes all around, and I was so concerned about myself that I didn't realize that the ashes had fallen on all of you. Dorinda, you got hit with the ashes too.
Dorinda, I like an analogy. I'm surprised Luann didn't say, don't interrupt.
When the ashes came onto you, you didn't know what to do or how to react.
Sorry.
You didn't know, do I drink, do I not drink?
Oh, she knew. I think we know which one Dorinda picked. When in doubt, glug, 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 glug.
But you know, I realized it was hard for you because as I was going through this process, this recovery...
Ramona, it was a process. It's just everyone's reaction. I mean, yes, everybody is listening, and it might have gone on and on, but you know what? It was an apology of sorts. So I guess you gotta kind of at least take it for that. So after that, they start eating, and Ramona's phone rings, and she answers it right there at the table. Hi, Lori. I'm here in the Hamptons. Come and see me. And Dorinda said, Ramona, are you just floating around somewhere, or are you here with us? It's my friend. I know that, but we're your friends too. And we're here right now. I got friends here, she's got friends here too. But we're being together with each other right now. Luann, of course, agrees with her new friend that she just apologized to. I feel like we're being ignored. Just be present with us, okay? I am present. Even your chair is turned away. And it is. Her chair is kind of like half, it's not even facing the table. Your chair is pointing outward. This was kind of funny. Ramona goes, I'm facing it toward Lia. I'm trying to bond with her. Oh, but she can't just leave it at that. She's got to really put her foot in it, because then she goes, oh, I guess I'm too social. I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm too social. That's my problem. And Luann is just shooting daggers at her. So now Sonja gets involved, and she's like, you said that you needed replacement friends, that we're getting too old and we're going to die. And she's like, no, I just want all my friends, my new friends, to meet my old friends, and I just like introducing people to each other. Then Dorinda said, I think Sonja was stirring the pot earlier. That's what I think. Sonja said, I think Lia misunderstood you. And then Ramona jumps on you don't stir the drink, you stir the pot. Sonja said, no, I don't. And Lia said, next time I will just speak directly to Dorinda. In Lia's confessional, she does finally admit that the tramp stamp comment wasn't the worst thing that anyone has ever said to her. But I've got my eye on you, Dorinda. And even in Dorinda's confessional, she said, I seem to have made a mistake about Lia. I may have been too quick to judge her, because she seems to be able to hold her own, which I like. Tattoos and all. And after Ramona decides to fluff up her hair a little bit and start scoping out the room for eligible men, we end episode 2. There's some interesting stuff happening next week, too. I don't want to talk about it yet, but of course it's interesting. It's New York City. All right, guys, thank you very, very much for joining me. Last week, I made the episode a premiere. I don't know if I'm going to do it with this one or not, but I will say that it was a lot of fun being able to live chat with you guys. I really did love the interaction. It made me feel so much more connected with you. So I definitely want to do it again in the future. I don't know that I'm going to do it for every episode, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Okay, if you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up. If you have yet to subscribe to Jill Informed, please consider doing so. Also, click on that little bell icon so that you get a notification every time I have a new video come out. Finally, please comment down below. I read all your comments. I'd love to hear from you. At the time of this filming, guys, most of us in the world are still in a quarantine type situation. I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. This is just an extra tough time for so many of us. I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay home. Let's make sure we're on top of this before we start heading out and interacting with people again. And I will be back next week with the next recap of The Real Housewives of New York City. I hope you're there too. Bye.